Barely a week, and my skin looks 75 to 8 better already.
I lost all my prescription medications in the first 30 days.
844 Dr. Black.
Since I've been on Dr. Black Superfood, I haven't been sick.
I'm Dr. Dennis Black. I make my Texas Superfood from 55 raw, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables.
Okay, from the start.
The acerola cherry,
Alfalfa leaf, aloe vera, apples, asparagus, banana,
beets, bell pepper, broccoli.
You can see all 55 on TexasSuperfood.com.
mangosteen,
pineapple, sweet potato,
papaya, parsley, peach.
In a capsule or a powder, one daily dose of Texas Superfood delivers the same nutrition as 12, count them, 12 servings of raw fruits and vegetables.
Raspberry, spinach, all of the nutrients that we need on a daily basis.
Wouldn't you rather be healthy, energetic, and fit? Join us on TexasSuperfood.com or call us at 844-DR-BLACK. That's 844-DR-BLACK.
TexasSuperfood.com.
WPGG, Atlantic City. Abeta Security would like to wish you a happy and healthy new year as they look toward a bright and prosperous 2015 for Atlantic City. Keeping you and your business secure is the job of Abeta Security. Try your luck in Atlantic City, but never gamble on your security with Abeta Security. Abeta Security is a full-service security firm with a focus on customer service and training. Abeta Security will cover your business and complete a full-scale property analysis in order to provide recommendations to maximize the return on your security investment. Abeta Security uses all the advanced technology available today and is globally recognized as a leader in the field of security. As Abeta Security continues to expand, they offer career opportunities. They're actively hiring quality candidates for all positions: uniform security, event staff, shift supervisors, and account managers. Go to abetasecurity.com to apply today. Try your luck in Atlantic City, but never gamble on your security with Abeta Security, 520 Pacific Avenue in the Bella Building, Atlantic City. Online at abetasecurity.com.
Today's Ask the Mayor program is proudly brought to you by the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, building a better future for our region through strategic initiatives to reach Atlantic City as a clean and safe, multifaceted year-round destination and community. This January, Boardwalk Hall will be alive with big-name acts like the All-Stars of Hip-Hop, Lincoln Park, Fleetwood Mac, and Racing. The convention center will host thousands of visitors during Spirit Cheer, the Starbound Gymnastics competition, and the Pool and Spa Show. And don't forget, the Trump Taj Mahal is open and offering plenty of fun. Today's reinvestment in the community continues as construction is close to wrap up at Bass Pro Shops with the anticipated April grand opening. Meanwhile, construction continues with hundreds of new housing units, the Harrah's Waterfront Conference Center, Atlantic Avenue facades, and improvements at Tropicana and Resorts. And don't forget to purchase your gift cards for the upcoming Atlantic City Restaurant Week from March 1st through the 7th. Let's do AC.
Now, WPG 1450 presents Ask the Mayor, presented by the New Jersey Casino Reinvestment Development Authority and Abeta Security. Your opportunity to ask Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian anything about the world's playground. To talk to Mayor Guardian, call 407-1450. That's 407-1450. Now, with Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian, here's Harry Hurley.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We'll be with you for the next hour and 5 minutes. Would like to phone in. The phone lines are open at 609-407-1450. Feel free to tweet your question as well. You can get us at WPG1450.com. We hope you'll watch us on the YouTube channel as well. And this will stream live starting tomorrow morning as well if you'd like to see it again. Also, it will be the 12 noon hour this Sunday right here on WPG Talk Radio 1450. I want to thank our market president, Michael Rubel, Chris Coleman, my executive program director. He's absolutely fabulous running this station, and Chris is doing double duty. He usually does a 10 thing. Tonight's 11 because also serving as tonight's executive producer. So thank you, Chris, for the great job that you do. By the way, like us on Facebook, WPG1450.com. And Mayor, a lot of ground covered tonight, but we begin the program with breaking news, a Hurley in the Evening exclusive. Mayor, you know how I love to break news.
You do. Was it about 15 minutes ago?
Atlanta, and I tweeted it live as it was happening. That's the beauty of technology. Atlantic City has a new president, Frank Gilliam Jr., we have the first interview exclusive with him tomorrow morning in the 9 o'clock hour on Hurley in the Morning. And I want to congratulate William Marsh. Of course, he remains city council and he served years as council president. But in a vote of 7-1, Councilman Randolph was the only vote against the new council president. You'll be world council president. I find him to be a very level-headed, good guy. I think he's ready for it. Obviously, his colleagues felt that he was. They honored him with the vote. He'll now have the authority to make the committee assignments, some very important things, because as you know, once you turn the budget over from the executive branch, it becomes a budget. So this is a big decision.
Absolutely. I want to share with you in joining my congratulations to Frank as he becomes a council president, and I look forward to working with him as I did Speedy for the last year. And so it's exciting. Frank has a couple of big interests, anything to do with youth and programs for our youth. And certainly he's a big guy with planning and development. And so that's where the city's going. That's how we're growing and things. And so having the new council president very committed to seeing new businesses, creating jobs, bringing in new taxes, it is pretty exciting for me.
Mayor, let's start on an area that I think is very important at every level, human resource level. It's extremely cold. It's going to go single digits overnight. The wind factored in, it will be sub-zero. Is Atlantic City buttoned down? And there's been a very good, whether it's called code blue or whatever it's called over the years. What can you say relative to this?
You got it. We're definitely in code blue now, which it gives our police officers the ability, if they find someone that's not mentally aware of how dangerous it is, they can actually pick them up, bring them over to the mission. Mission Salvation certainly open. During the day, you have the library, you have the Old Memorial, you have the PAL building and City Hall, all as warming stations. If you're getting it's getting really cold out there. If you see that's outside and they're there for any prolonged period of time, give them the information, let them know that there's plenty of places. We'd like to make sure that there's someplace warm and safe.
Guardian, this is also the first time I've been able to publicly thank you. I've had that opportunity. I saw you, of course, at the recent Support Our Police Rally. The cooperation office was incredible from all the city functions that are required to make something like that happen. And as you know, it happened in less than 3 days, and over 300 and some folks came out. It was a tremendous show of support, I think, at exactly the right time. Dr. John Baker brought an idea to me. I helped in terms of getting me to be the MC, and just John did a great job, and all of your team did. The turnout was amazing, and it even drew a New York City police officer that was there.
Yeah, it did. You know, I wanted to to thank him personally. I'll fight. It was really nice.
Beautiful.
And I think everyone that came out, it was the day after the holiday, certain time that everyone wants to chill and have a good time. But I thought it was wonderful, everyone coming out supporting our police department. They're really working overtime to connect the community, do a better job. And I think, see, if and reading the paper and the editorials, everyone is saying the same things. You know, from the county prosecutor over to the director in Philadelphia that's reviewing our police department. They're really making strides, and we really see Atlantic City's department being the best in the state and leading the country in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I know you know this, and you've been tremendously supportive of public safety, but when police officers put their lives on the line every day, and all they were hearing was just filthy, just negative, horrible commentary, that rally was really just inspiring at so many levels. And I know that Friday is National Appreciation Day for police officers, and there will be an event in Atlantic City. I understand it will be at the Clayton Graham building. The time, I think, is 12 noon, but tomorrow morning and Friday evening, we'll make sure we have that set and advertise it a lot here on WPG Talk Radio 1450 throughout the day, and of course early in the morning, and our WPG1450.com website. I've learned in advance. We'll be speaking at this. I think this is a great thing to do.
It's wonderful. I'm glad we honor police all over the country. And what happened, it's real important that we show support for our law enforcement.
Something that I was teased, but I honestly didn't have enough details, and I had sources that did not free me to say too much about it, but it's now a matter of public record. So I teased quite a while ago something big was going to happen at Atlantic Club. That is almost 10 years of my life in that building. It's very important to me. This looks like it's going to be a very situation.
Yeah, I was able to meet with representatives of this group about 2 weeks ago, and they shared some of the initial concepts. Let me wait for them to be making an official announcement. But
Would you go as far as to say, do you like what you've heard in terms of their concepts?
I like what I've heard from their concepts. It was different than what the press had to. Now, what I can tell you is they're basically looking at maybe the top 5 or 10 stories of the building, gutting it, creating condos that could be used for condo hotels, so that you could have one daily basis that they would manage, and then they're planning to have a hotel. The hotel may have some timeshares. They're going to see how that flies. Some restaurants they were inquiring specifically about what Resort did a year-round beach bar on the other side of the boardwalk that on the 3rd level to the casino. So to the Atlantic Club, so that you could have easy access year-round. We need to reinvigorate buildings. We need to bring them back on the tax rolls and to create jobs. So this is wonderful. That's in a more quiet part of town, and so I think this type of development, more residential, and a hotel is perfect, and it'll feed Tropicana. So I don't think we lose out with gaming either.
You're listening to Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian. This is our monthly program on WPG Talk Radio 1450, Ask the Mayor. Mayor Don Guardian will join us next month, just if you want to put this down for your planning purposes, and we'll promote it a lot, as Chris always does, station-wide throughout the day in the run-up to next month. Wednesday, the 18th, will be the next edition of Ask the Mayor. Mayor, in terms of Revel, Glenn Straub was the runner-up. Brookfield pulls out. Glenn Straub now is in the pole position. Bankruptcy judge approves the sale. Glenn Straub immediately wants to go back to work because he'd like to pay $6 million less than the $95 million. Where does this basically stand? Is he the owner? Seems legally he is the owner. What's the latest? Can you say anything about it?
Over till it's over.
The Yogi's in the lobby tell us all that. But
so there are other interested parties. Don't count anybody out.
All right. A very good friend of mine that is in the industry said that there's somebody that was willing to pay even more for it. All right, so you have good sources. I want to tell you, Harry. Yeah. They would say $110 million.
Yeah, you have very good sources, Harry. I think we know it's important. We want it opened up again as a casino hotel. We know that they had incredible dining. The club was off the wall. Their pubs, the Muscle Bar, which was just great. Open again. It's important. It creates jobs. It brings excitement back to the city and things. So,
as mayor of Atlantic City, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm not proud to and I'm going to just say it. It's nothing against Straub. He could be successful, but university and a mountain landscape and some of these things. I mean, I would much rather see what Brookfield was talking or what this new that I've been privately told about by a well-placed source would be looking to. I think it would be more traditional, and I think it would fit the vision that I believe you have for Atlantic City.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, as something I'd be happy to call you in your morning show, and we'll talk about it.
Sounds good. What can you say about the Taj Mahal? Where do we stand?
Yeah, just that, there's a commitment to stay open. We all know the game. And when I say the game is, we know it's tough. So by having the funding, be able to stay open through the bankruptcy, once the springtime comes, that it's financially sound to stay open, and of course the summer's going to be good. We all know that the Taj needs a makeover, and so that $100 million is going to be real important. I think that some of that it'll be able to be recouped through the Grow New Jersey program for the state of New Jersey for that section of the property that is not a casino. And I think we're all waiting to see the legislation goes in Trenton. I'm going to be up several times in Trenton to lobby for the legislation. it's going to be important in that as you look at all 5 bills, it's going to help casinos stabilize the amount of taxes that they're paying. But much more important, it's going to stabilize and lower taxes for everyone else. So non-casino as well. So a lot of time people talk about just one of the bills. It's really not fair. Talk about bills. The county has been now deeply involved. They seem to have been left out of the initial plan. We're very concerned. And as early as 2 or 3 hours ago, we were in interagency agreement so that the county leadership, and Denny's been wonderful, by the way, Denny Levinson, make sure that the brunt of payment does not go to the county, and so that it's fair for everyone. And I think that's what you'll see. It's going to be a good deal for Atlantic City residents that pay taxes that are not casinos, and it's also going to be good for county county-wide property.
How close do you think the state plan came being to actually be passed that day? It seemed to me like it was very close, for example, and I don't understand the connection, but if Carl Icahn had decided to go in with $100+ million long-term fix for the Taj, as opposed to the shorter leash $20 million that he put in, at least to keep open into 2015, I thought that would have passed.
Yeah, I think it would have passed too. The stumbling horse will and should be part of employees' contract if they're full-time. But I think the pension is what's scaring everyone away.
Listeners, don't be shy. You never are on Ask the Mayor. The program is really about, I have the opportunity to pose questions to Mayor Don Gardy, and we'll go to your calls when you check in, as you always do, at 609-407-1450, 609-407-1450. Feel free to email your questions. Chris and I will see them at PG Talk Radio 1450's website, WPG1450.com. And if you're listening to the program, just to let you know, from your smartphone, tablet, desktop, laptop, you can watch the program as well, streaming in very nice high-quality video and audio on our website, WPG1450.com, where each episode is archived. For example, January's is right on the front screen, the first screen of our website right now. And in the very near future, you'll be able to have this episode on demand as well. So jump in if you have a question for Mayor Don Gardy. He loves to take your questions. 609-407-1450. He does what he always does. He comes in with no briefcase, no notepad, nothing. He comes in himself, and he has a command of all these issues, which has always impressed me about Don for many, many decades that I've known him. In terms of the city budget, I don't think there's any question. This is the most challenging budget in the history of Atlantic City, and certainly in modern history, post-casino history, and no mayor has been faced with what you have been faced with. How is it going? Give an update.
Sure. So it's just a little bit too early to close the books 2014, but there's no surprises. We're well ahead of where we should be, meaning we spent the $6 million that we knew we were going to get from Web, and we did not spend all the money there. So you got to finish paying all the bills. You got to make sure that everything's okay. But I think you'll see a surplus. We didn't spend what we budgeted in 2014.
Did you need $40 million from the state?
We did. Cash flow.
And I've been curious about this.
Yeah.
How do you pay it back on March 31st?
We go to a bond.
Okay.
The alternate is that if this legislation is passed, a state to consider this part of the bond payment, which is the debt for the city, and we use some of the money from the IATs and from the ACA and pay it directly, and don't take them out at all.
I want to say this, but you're the one that should comment on it. My feeling is that Governor Chris Christie has been ordinarily supportive, and that the state has been extremely positive and helpful towards Atlantic City. Do you agree?
They have. I have to tell you, Harry, in every part of the state. Now, again, we're not talking about the casinos in North Jersey, which is between South Jersey and North Jersey. But when we take that away, there's very few people that are not supporting Atlantic City getting back on its feet and being successful again. And that's from representatives from both the Democrats and the Republicans in Essex County, in Hudson County, in Bergen County. So it's not just the 8 traditional additional southern New Jersey counties.
I mean, I think it's clear, recognize as Atlantic City goes, so goes the state.
Yes.
There's a lot riding on this.
Yeah.
What's going to be your position? I don't think there's any question. I mean, I've interviewed Senate President Sweeney a whole bunch, and he's a little bit, coy about it, but I think it's very, very clear there will be a ballot question first Tuesday, November, about casinos in other parts of the state. Are you going to take action on that? Are you going to aggressively be against it? What's going to be? What are you going to do?
Aggressively do everything I can to make sure that it's defeated when that referendum comes about. I don't think it's a good idea. If do we have 3 or 4 minutes?
Yes. Now we're going to go to Doug. So okay. Doug, don't go away. Right. Go ahead, Mayor.
So here's the point. I think you build a casino in North Jersey, and it's probably going to do $1 billion because of there's so many people that could go to that. And this is my personal opinion, again, based on everyone I talk to. I think $600 million of that $1 billion actually comes from Atlantic City. About $300 million will come from existing casinos in the 5 boroughs of New York City and in Pennsylvania. Now, $100 million. Let's just take the $600 million from South Jersey. Devastating to South Jersey and Atlantic City. It'll close 1 or 2 casinos. It means 3,000 or 6,000 jobs that'll be lost. In a North Jersey casino, they're going to be able to hire 1,000 people because they're not going to do anything else. So you're going to lose 5,000 jobs. And from the state point, they've got to realize 5,000 people aren't going to be paying state income tax. And on top of that, you figure out how much money is the state not going to receive in sales tax from the people that come to Atlantic City, and the taxes that they collect for the parking fee, for the luxury tax, and for the room tax. So that $600 million, you're going to give 50% instead of 8%. It's short-term bad decision for the state of New Jersey. So it's Atlantic City and South Jersey loses, but here's how New Jersey loses in total. You build a casino in North Jersey, and it's only a matter of time before the state of New York says we're going to allow a casino to be built in Suffern or Texas Park. If you're not familiar with the geography, that's right across the border on the Jersey-New York scene and things. That new casino will take money away from this new casino. If it's well, you can see a casino in Manhattan on the high river, and if that does well, you'll see a casino in Long Island.
So we'll hemorrhage, then they'll hand back this $200 million, $250 million token, but the net is a big time loser, isn't it?
A big time loser for everyone. So
why do you think there's such a push for this? If it's not in the best interest of Atlantic City, that's one thing, and I think we clearly agree with that, and most people agree with that. The people pushing, they have to be pushing this for a reason, because it's not good for the state.
It's not good for the state, and that's my point. And even if it's good for the state, it's very short term that it's good for the state. And then, Harry, we're both in the industry, so we know this. You can't pay 50% tax. You can initially, but in 10 years, you got to be catching up with the trends.
You see the markets that are paying that and more, they're borrowing from the government to stay open.
That's it. So you're not going to be able to redo your casino in 10 years, and it's going to fold. Better entire state. We've got to convince New Jersey that there's no way for the casino up there.
We have a number of email questions stacking up for Mayor Guardian. We want to get the first caller on. It is Doug, and you can join us. Do what Doug did. Dial 609-1450. Doug, welcome to Ask the Mayor. Mayor Don Guardian is here to take your question. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. I just two questions. They both concern Stockton purchased the showboat. One, where did they get the funds to do it? And number 2, does it take away from your tax base?
Okay, great questions. Number one is Stockton has sufficient funds in all fundraising they did to actually pay cash for this purchase. The square footage, by the way, the square footage of the showboat is greater than all of the buildings combined on the campus at Stockton right now. The parking, having 2 parking garages, is equal to all of those vast parking lots that are out there now. Now, I want to tell you that with this deal, through the CRDA, there were an additional $17 million committed that is going to be used for refurbishing the buildings for an academic purpose. Number 2 is on the property that so the hotel that they're planning to operate, as well as the restaurants, they would pay regular taxes as if they were in the business. But in addition to that, the rest of the facility that's for an academic purpose, that's typically is absolute tax. Stockton is going to be paying a payment in lieu of taxes, a pilot. So they're going to be paying full taxes on the property that they run as a hotel and a restaurant, and then they're going to pay a pilot, which is payment in lieu of tax, because a nonprofit doesn't pay taxes for nonprofit operations on the rest. So we're going to receive the fund for what was formerly the Showboat equal to it being bought by a for-profit company.
And it could have been torn down to the ground, which at one point I think Caesars was going to do if they didn't wind up selling it.
Yeah, and so you have the same square footage in Showboat for the use, and then you have 25 acres that's buildable, and of course there's no height restrictions.
Doug, you have any follow-up? Then we're on.
No, that's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Doug.
Ask a question, you get an answer. Mayor, is there a pension issue in Atlantic City? Do you have? I mean, it's in governments all over.
Yeah.
State an issue. I understand that there's a pretty substantial 5-figure pension problem. Is that
okay.
true?
So two issues, Harry.
Okay.
We're going to separate Beach Patrol.
Okay.
So everyone but the Beach Patrol in the state pension plan. So how the state pension plan goes, how Atlantic City goes, but there's no liability for the city of Atlantic City because all of us are in the pension plan. One of the plans by John Hanson was to allow Atlantic City not to pay for 3 years pension plan and use that to pay off debt. Completely separate story. Now we go to the Beach Patrol. Back in, I think, 1920s, said every city that has more than 30,000 people on the Jersey Shore that has Beach Patrol has to have a pension plan. It's required by the state. Pension plan that the city currently has for the Beach Patrol takes out $900,000. So the city pays out $900,000 and we take $100,000. What we're asking the state is to have the state legislature change this and allow us to take the 10 or 15 Beach Patrol that are going to be there for the rest of their lives after 10 years, long term, and allow them to be part of the state pension plan and immediately for high school kids, for college kids, and for graduate students that are Beach Patrol, not to be in a pension plan. They're going to have professional lives. This isn't 1920 anymore. It makes no sense, and we'll come up with $800 in savings every year.
Mayor, so that's question answered. Let's go to our first internet questions. I'm going to go to Kevin's question. It's just going to take me a second to retrieve because another one popped up over it. And Kevin wants to ask Mayor Guardian the following, and you can jump in. The phone lines are clear. 609-714-50. Kevin, thanks for writing in. Good evening, Harry. I have a question for the mayor. I understand that the city is in constant conversation with casinos that may close or may come into the city, but are they also in conversations with private companies that have been shut down that operate within the casinos, companies, the Blues? It's interesting about this. The question goes on a little more, and I want to share it. But we're outfits. They wanted to stay open when the casinos closed.
No question.
Revel and elsewhere. Yeah. So I go on and on and on. But that's the thrust of the question. And Kevin's point is we're not hearing much about them, which is a good point.
Okay. So I'll tell you, Harry, is the businesses that are here we want to protect, especially the ones that do well that we love. That's most of the properties that are in Atlantic City. I don't want to do anything that jeopardizes their current ability to stay open where they are or the deal that they're trying to make to go future. In Revel, as Revel opens, all of those properties reopen, meaning all of the restaurants, the bars, the nightclub, the spot, everything that Revel didn't operate directly and things. In the other properties like Trump, absolutely, we're the people that ran the coffee house there because it was a Starks, and we're trying to find out where the best location would be. And we're looking at the old bathroom, the boardwalk. We're looking at Boardwalk Hall. Also looking at the property right of West Hall as part of it. We also know that you have the restaurant, the two restaurants, the Evos and the Rainforest Cafe. Both of them fabulous properties. Good. If something happens to Trump Plaza, we need to relocate them. So the answer is absolutely. It's rare a day goes by that I don't speak to one of the former restaurants that happen to be closed that they want to stay in the city and looking for relocating opportunities. Of course, always is with Bob, doing the makeover for the location.
Even as optimistic as you've been, and I think a lot of people have appreciated that, and I will confess that I've appreciated it because of tough times. People losing their jobs, traction. These are very, very challenging times. Even as optimistic as you have been in some of the end of year and New Year articles and different media that have gotten you on the record, you said that you, as optimistic as you are, you still expect that one casino will close.
Boy, I'm amazed. I talked for an hour, and people always pick up that one item.
Because you're very positive, so that's like an ingot of gold when they hear you say that. I want to agree with you. I think Bally's, Park Place, Wild West, whatever it's called, I don't think Caesars wants to keep open. I think it's going to close. So I think your projection, I think, is absolutely right. One more casino closing, put in perspective.
But we have to open well because that's 3,000 jobs.
Then net you get the other one back.
Especially if anything happens at Bally's. I am hoping with Bally's. Caesars has always been undersized, and we know that. So, 30 years ago, they were afraid to put the Caesars name on it because it was so small. One was called the Boardwalk Regency, and all of us thought that one day in front of the Sands, we would see, magnificent Caesars Palace, similar to Las Vegas. It didn't happen. So, well, one property. I don't think Bally's just gets shut down. I think Bally's becomes part of Caesars. It just
like
makes
an annex.
some sense.
Maybe during the summer it's used heavy. Maybe they close it during the cold.
They take a look at the Harris property and they see the conference center booming, and they said, you know what, Bally's can easily become a conference center as part of the Caesars property.
Let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to ask Marion what he sees for the winter season. I think it's going to be a real big season. Obviously, hotels are going to make decisions to close floors, possibly even lay off more. We'll get the mayor's take on that. I also want to get into some of the changes because I think it is an appropriate disbandment of the Atlantic City Alliance. I never really understood it. To me, it wasn't redundancy. It wasn't necessary. And I want to give the mayor an opportunity to talk how that money will be redirected. And if it is redirected to the city, do we lose valuable marketing dollars? Are we still going to be able to bring Blake Shelton and do tremendous things and Nick Wallenda and all these wonderful things that can be done? Do we lose that? I don't think we can afford to lose that. So I guess I'm going to ask if we can have our cake, eat it too. With Mayor Don Guardian, I am Harry Hurley. It's 30 minutes past the hour. We'll be here until 5 minutes past 7. Feel free to jump in at 609-407-1450. Email your question to us as well, right for WPG1450.com. You can tweet your question as well, and we'll get your question to the mayor just like we did Kevin's. That was one of your email questions. We'll be back with Ask Mayor. Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian, live on WPG Talk Radio 1450.
You've got mail. The WPG Talk Radio 1450 newsletter is yet another way South Jersey's talk station keeps you informed. The latest South Jersey news, community events, information on fun contests, links to exclusive YouTube videos, and more delivered right to your inbox.
I can even send email on the internet.
It's free. To sign up for the WPG Talk Radio 1450 newsletters, simply go to WPG1450.com.
Goodbye.
Keeping you and your business safe and sound is the job of Abeta Security. Try your luck in Atlantic City, but never gamble on your security. Abeta Security is the company that keeps Atlantic City secure. They're a full-service security firm with a focus on customer service and training. Abeta Security will come to your business and provide recommendations to maximize the return on your security investment, recognizing that each property and event is unique. Abeta Security is based in Atlantic City, located in the heart of the redevelopment zone. As Abeta Security continues to expand, they offer a myriad of career opportunities and are actively hiring quality candidates for all positions: uniform security, event staff, shift supervisors, and account managers. Go to abetasecurity.com to apply today. Abeta Security, located at 520 Pacific Avenue in the Bella Building in Atlantic City. Online at abetasecurity.com. Abeta Security would like to wish everyone a happy, healthy, and safe holiday season. Abeta Security in Atlantic City for Atlantic City.
Today's Ask the Mayor program is proudly brought to you by the Casino Investment Development Authority, building a better future for our region through strategic initiatives to reposition Atlantic City as a clean and safe, multifaceted, year-round destination and community. This January, Boardwalk Hall will be alive with big game acts like the All-Stars of Hip-Hop, Lincoln Park, Fleetwood Mac, and indoor auto racing. The Convention Center will host thousands of visitors during Spirit Cheer, the Starbound Gymnastics Competition, and the Pool and Spa Show. And don't forget, the Trump Taj Mahal is open and offering plenty of promotions and fun. The CRDA's reinvestment in the community continues as construction is close to wrapping up at Bass Pro Shops with an anticipated April grand opening. Meanwhile, construction continues with hundreds of new housing units, the Harris Waterfront Conference Center, Atlantic Avenue facades and improvements at Tropicana and Resorts. And don't forget to purchase your gift cards for the upcoming Atlantic City Restaurant Week from March 1st through the 7th. Let's do AC.
WPG Talk Radio 1450 presents Ask the Mayor, presented by the New Jersey Casino Reinvestment and Alphatus Security. To talk to Mayor Guardian, call 407-1450. Now, with Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian, here's Harry Hurley.
More importantly, here's Mayor Don Guardian. You can meet with me tomorrow morning between 6 and 10. By the way, quick programming note, in breaking news, we tweeted it first, and we broke it minutes past the top of the hour. That Frank Gilliam Jr. is the new president of City Council. And you know, with change, something is going to be different. I don't know this for a fact. There's been a long time chairman of Revenue and Finance for over 20 years. Who knows? I don't know that stays. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of changes. With the first glimpse into this tomorrow morning on Hurley in the Morning, don't miss it, 9 o'clock hour. The new council president, in his first interview, an exclusive for PG Talk Radio 1450 and the Hurley in the Morning program. And on top of that, we'll have Councilman George Tibbett as well. So we'll get insight about why the change was made and what are some of the things in the new year that the new council president, Frank Gilliam Jr., is going to do. I fed in 5 questions right before the break, but as always, we defer your calls. 609-1450. Steve joins us first. You're on the air with Mayor Don Guardian. Steve, go right ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Mayor, I had a suggestion for the walk. Shopping is a very important aspect of Atlantic City, and with the winter months, especially in the cold months and the snow, why didn't they somehow put tarps or some sort of a covered walkway by the walk, right around Caesar's area?
That's a great question. You're the first person that ever asked me that. I'm going to be putting it down in my phone, and I will meet with the manager of the walk tomorrow or Friday, and I'll find out if there's some consideration of that possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be enclosed, just like.
I got it. It's a good point and stuff. Yeah, it protects you from the rain and from the snow.
Right. I mean, in Vegas, the 4 corners, they have the spritzers, the water spritzers that cool people off and walking from, the little kiosks that are outside. Another question, the follow-up, Mayor. The CRDA, they're still charging a certain amount of money for parking at these casinos that are not at full capacity. Is that correct?
What happens is there's a parking fee that goes to pay off the bonds that built the walk in the Sheraton initially. And so $1.50 every time a car comes through, the casino has to pay the CRA $1.50. Then they can charge anything more than they want after that. But yes.
And that's what they're doing. They're killing themselves because as a local resident down beach, there's a lot of people that would love to navigate the restaurant scene in the casinos. They're terrific. And, hit over the head with a $10 parking fee seems ridiculous, especially since you're going to be spending money tipping the waiter, tipping the car jockey when you're bringing your car, laying it. So it seems like they're hurting themselves. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would. And I have to tell you that we're going to be studying parking all over the city. And there are a number of cities that have a very interesting concept. You use your telephone. So what they do is they give the people in that city extra weeks, like 30-minute free parking. Then they reach out to the county, and if you use your phone, it doesn't have to be a smartphone, a regular phone, they actually give you the first 30 minutes free. Now, if you follow me with the concept, you're able to do this from a computer from City Hall. So you could decide that on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays that you want to encourage people to come dine. And so at 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, you have free parking anywhere there is in the city. So I think, you know, that you're not the first person. Lots of people complain about the cost of parking. And so I think we take advantage of weekdays when we're trying to fill restaurants and clubs and bars, and we give people free parking.
Well, I agree with you. I remember in the old days, you used to get your parking stick validity at one of the restaurants.
And by the way, Steve, some of the places are still doing that. Palm does it, and some of the other places, and they decide to do that, and that's happening. But of course, it's not happening everywhere. Steve, thank you very much for calling in. Have a great night.
Too.
Thank you, sir. 609-407-1550. You can be next to Ask Mayor Don Hardy and the Honorable Mayor of Atlantic City. Are you looking to do something to increase parking revenue in Atlantic City?
Yeah, what we're trying to do is figure out what's going on with parking. So we've taken about $500,000 in meter fees, and then there's about $500,000 in parking tickets. But we looked at the record last year, and we lost $7,000. So something's wrong. We don't know how many parking meters we have. We don't know the condition of the parking meters. Some streets have meters, some streets don't. There are different prices. So we're going to do an analysis of the whole program. Yeah, we're going to be changing it. It's not necessarily going to be bad for residents of Atlantic City or for Atlantic County residents, because we're going to have some creative ways to give you the ability to still park for free for a very low cost.
Most of the Atlantic City meters still kind of antiquated, where you have to put coins in.
Yeah, it is. And so
these ones with the can take your debit card or a credit card.
Right. So I can tell you the ones that take credit cards, the boxes that we all hate to use because we can't read it, and with the black glare in the sun and things like that, they produce 10 times the amount of revenue. Because what happens is, I bet I check my credit card into my debit card and things like that, and I read it, and I'm not really hit $2. But if I had a quarter, I'd be putting a quarter in, go in, I'd back and things. So that's the first part. Second part is that with the more advanced meter, you actually have it tied to your phone, and it calls you on your phone, tells you there's 10 minutes left. You're sitting at a restaurant, you're just going to pay for another half hour, an hour on it, and that's why the revenue could be enhanced.
I was going to say, I want to thank Steve for his call. He inspired me to ask you something that I think I've forgotten for the evening. Bass Pro Shop. We've talked about on Ask the Mayor in the past. When we're talking traction and some of the things that aren't as positive, Bass Pro Shop selecting Atlantic City. It's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal. There's a mileage. I'm going to be off, but it's like 150 miles. You can't build another Bass Pro shop. So
it's barely more than one per state, actually.
Right. And their average is 1 million customers a year. This is really big. People come in there as if it's an entertainment zone.
And they have things to do there. Bowling in there and all kinds of things.
I don't do bowling, but it's going to be pretty exciting.
A lot of activities, though.
Lots of activities. And I know we're discussing it. April 7th and 8th. I think 7th is going to be a fundraiser for some conservation causes, and April 8th they're going to have the grand opening. They tell me in other locations they actually shut down highways. That's how many people expected to come. So I had joked because they have 200 parking spaces. We know how few people park in the Wave Garage. So I'm saying, well, on that day there'll be plenty of parking in the Wave Garage. So we'll have those 1,000 spaces available. But I'm looking forward to Bass Pro. And just last month, they came back to planning and zoning and said they're going to postpone for a year. Now they're going to open up at the same time. They're going to build an additional 700 square feet boat complex on the lot from Andrews now. So you'll see that it'll be a boat yard. The boats that they're selling will be on display. That will be a boathouse. It's kind of cool. So that's diagonally across from the Wave Garage.
What people also do, because Bass Pro Shop is such an experience, they'll make a multi-day stay out of it.
Right.
It's huge for Atlantic City.
Harry, if you think of Bass like we thought of the expansion that was much. So by coming to Land Shark, people came because they love the brand, the Parrot Head. They didn't normally come to Atlantic City. They came, they ate a meal, and then they stayed and they had a good time. And we ended up with, I think, Mark Giannone told me maybe 400,000 more people this year than they had last year, just because of people wanting to come to Land Shark.
And look what it means to the bottom line.
Right. So now another 1 million people. You know, you don't come to Atlantic City when you think of hunting equipment, or fishing equipment, or boating. Such a new breed of people. So it's not just 1 million shoppers. It's 1 million people that we wouldn't have normally. That I think for sure are going to stay for dining and for luncheons, maybe do some shopping. But I think you'll see them staying over as well.
Let's take our final break. We have one more power site ahead. 42 minutes past the hour. If you'd like to phone your question in 609-407-1450. Phone lines are open for Mayor Don Guardian. Ask the Mayor is the program. WP Talk Radio 1450, South Jersey's talk station. I'm Harry Hurley with Mayor Don Guardian. 609-407-1450. Phone lines are open right now. You can email your question in as well. Tweet it. We'll find it between Chris Cole and I. We will find your question on social media. If you take just a moment to get to us, we will pose it to Mayor Guardian on your behalf. We'll be right back in 2.5 minutes.
WPG1450.com is South Jersey's 24-hour news source. When you need to know what's happening in South Jersey, around the Garden State, or across the country, visit WPG1450.com. The biggest news stories, your 5-day forecast, and more on your desktop or optimized for your tablet. It's news when you need it at your fingertips from WPG Talk Radio 1450 and WPG1450.com. Abeta Security would like to wish you a happy and healthy new year as they look toward a bright and prosperous 2015 for Atlantic City. Keeping you and your business secure is the job of Abeta Security. Try your luck in Atlantic City, but never gamble on your security with Abeta Security. Abeta Security is a full-service security firm with a focus on customer service and training. Abeta Security will come to your business and complete a full-scale property analysis in order to provide recommendations to maximize the return on your security investment. Abeta Security uses all the advanced technology available today and is globally recognized as a leader in the field of security. As Abeta Security continues to expand, they offer career opportunities. They're actively quality candidates for all positions: uniform security, event staff, shift supervisors, and account managers. Go to abetasecurity.com to apply today. Try your luck in Atlantic City, but never gamble on your security with Abeta Security, 520 Pacific Avenue in the Bella Building, Atlantic City. Online at abetasecurity.com.
Today's Ask the Mayor program is proudly brought to you by the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, building a better future for our region through strategic initiatives to reposition Atlantic City as a clean and safe, multifaceted, year-round destination and community. This January, Boardwalk Hall will be alive with big game acts like the All-Stars of Hip Hop, Lincoln Park, Fleetwood Mac, and indoor auto racing. The Convention Center will host thousands of visitors during Spirit Cheer, the Starbound Gymnastics Competition, and the Pool and Spa Show. And don't forget, the Trump Taj Mahal is open and offering plenty of promotions and fun. The CRDA's reinvestment in the community continues as construction is close to wrapping up at Pro Shop. Anticipated April grand opening. Meanwhile, construction continues with hundreds of new housing units. The Harris Waterfront Conference Center, Atlantic Avenue facades and improvements at Tropicana and Resorts. And don't forget to purchase your gift cards for the week from March 1st through the 7th. Let's do AC.
WPG Talk Radio 1450 presents Ask the Mayor, presented by the New Jersey Casino Investment Development Authority and Elite Security. To talk to Mayor Guardian, call 407-1450. Now, with Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian, here's Harry Hurley.
Thank you very much and welcome back. We are brought to you by Abeta Security, and they'll keep you and your business safe and sound. Greg and Chris running an awesome team. Try your luck in Atlantic City, but never gamble on security with Abeta Security. Online at abetasecurity.com, EATIS. We're also brought to you by the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, building a better future for Atlantic City. The Casino Reinvestment Development Authority is proud to support today's Ask the Mayor program on WPG Talk Radio 1450. Makes me think of another arm of Atlantic City, if you will, public-private partnership, Meet AC. A lot of people don't know this, but they will. Meet AC, formerly the ACCV mayor, They are knocking it out of the park. Wait until people find out the exciting things that are going on and the folks that are coming to Atlantic City.
Yeah, everybody an answer today and solutions today. But for conventions and conferences, it's that 18 to 24 month period that you have to wait. But I want to tell you, Jim
and sometimes
Wood,
even longer than that.
Yeah, longer than that. Jim Wood has been here about 6 months. He put together a team, triple the amount of salespeople that are going out, and you saw some of the numbers unofficially. They're really wonderful. Seeing we're going to be back to being a very, very strong convention town off season, and that's really how we're eventually going to get through the fall and the winter and the springs. Not this year, but this year is going to look very good. I'm very impressed with what Jim is doing, and I have to tell you, he's a real positive guy. We went to take a location. It was actually firefighters, and we had no chance of getting this convention, but he asked me to go with him to try to sell them, and we did a good PR and stuff. And he says, we're not going to get this convention. I just wanted to tell you, but we need to be here because we want to get it in a year and 2 years.
Right, because the one who didn't get it the last time
either. Absolutely. You got it.
To put you in the hunt.
And that's Jim's plan. He says, we're going to say no a couple of times. Eventually, you're going to say yes.
Yeah, if you become on deck, you will get it in the future.
And Harry, people have a very, very good time when they come to a convention in Atlantic City and stuff. There's lots to do. We went to, I'm sure, a lot of conventions in cities where you just stayed in the hotel. I mean, you didn't go outside. There was nothing to do. This is a great. The convention hall is great. And I know the conference center, the Harris buildings will be fabulous too. And the expansion conference facilities at resorts as well should be done by the end of the year.
Mayor, I was thinking about this the other day and made a brief comment about it and I don't know this is the exact time and place to talking about it, but you'll have an opinion on this. Miss America, if I'm not mistaken, this is the final year of the contract, right?
That's correct.
Okay. I always get leery when something's in the final year of a contract. In major sports, they usually let a head coach even get to the final year because they want that person to have some legs and not be bound by the fact it's a final year. So usually you renegotiate when a coach and some of your best players have a couple of years left in their contract. It's to the final year. It's obviously expensive, the production value and setup and everything. Does Miss America have a future in Atlantic City outside of this year's estimation?
Maybe.
So it's not, is it?
It could be.
I mean, there's obviously if $30 million is being directed to the city, and that is correct, right?
The current plan is $30 million. We're talking about marketing and things like that. It's being redirected to the city. I think right now, and I just met with Jeff Guarasino just on Monday, and I said, Jeff, you did in the city last year. And with the taxes that were paid, kind of impacted that. Because we have to take a look at what we really need this year. So right now the legislation says that $30 million goes directly to the city. Some of the conversations made $10 million that goes to the city, that it stays. Those are the special events that we really have going there.
Because the way I'm thinking about it, it's the original home to Miss America. It was the first home to Miss America. Then we lost it to Las Vegas. We get it back.
Right.
And if after a few short years, I guess it was like a 3-year deal, something like that. After a few short years, if we lose it again, does that make Atlantic City? Is that a PR hit that there's an intangible there to be considered in terms of, does that make Atlantic City look like dying down? Oh my gosh, now they can't even have America.
Right.
So I'm not saying you spend more if something's a net loser, that you don't spend good after bad, but you get what I'm saying. I think there's a PR side of this.
There's no question about it. But
it's great.
You see the city on the air on ABC, and it looks great. Great pieces. The
Boardwalk Hall looked great.
Boardwalk
all the vignettes, Steel Pier, and everything. They did those things.
That's what I think the real value of Miss America today.
The parade.
Yeah, the parade for locals. They love that. But it's really the promotions on ABC that you see that I think has the greatest value with the Miss America organization.
I have to say, this year, last year, now it's 2015, I think they really highlighted and showcased Atlantic City very, very honestly.
And I know that this year, I'm breaking it a little bit too early in things, but I think they've already announced that Dick Clark Production are going to be taking over the production of the show.
Which they do a great job.
They really do. So it may change and really enliven the actual TV presentation.
So the future is unknown.
I think so, because ACA is unknown and CRDA unknown.
Yeah, to me, see, the ACA was not the panacea and be all. They just had money.
Right.
If I gave you $30 million, you would do a better job than they did. And there are a lot of other capable people. So to me, the ACA, that was a lot of out-of-towners. They never even faked like they were here. They out-of-town license plate. What's the first thing John Palmieri did when he took over as the executive director of CRDA?
He moved into the city.
Bought a home in Atlantic City.
And
he didn't rent some room.
Yeah, Joe Orsini did the same.
Yeah, so they have skin in the game.
They do.
And you can tell the difference.
Absolutely.
So it's care that ACA has gone good. Good riddance. I've been, as you know, I've been very supportive and bullish on Atlantic City, probably like no other member in the media.
You're right.
But I was never bullish on ACA.
Yeah.
That was out-of-towners that were just $450,000 for this one, $250 for this one, $150 for even below average talent. Forget about it. That money should be used to do great things in Atlantic City. So we don't need the ACA to have Miss America, but we do the marketing budget.
We do.
Are we going to have a marketing budget?
I don't know at this time. Everything is riding these 5 bills right now, Harry. You know, there's a plan. Now there's a Crispin plan. There's a John Hanson plan. The Steve Sweeney plan is very solid. And you know, he's a Democrat. You know, your listeners should have said, I'm a Republican. This is bipartisan. What's best for Atlantic City and Atlantic County.
And he's been a good friend to Atlantic City.
He has been very, 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 very supportive. So has the governor.
No doubt.
You know, we have sides of the aisle there, and I want as best as we can.
In terms of winter 2015,
tough.
I was just going to say, tough one, isn't it?
For me to say that there's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
It hurts. Winter's always tough here. This is a real tough year and things. You know, I was with Ripley's, believe it or not, and they're doing well, but they say there are few people walking by, which means few people coming in, and that definitely has an effect. And that's why it's important to reinvigorate the properties that are closed in the boardwalk and bring new attractions in. It's going to be very important. So we're asking people to hold on through the winter now. We know it's slower than most. You know, I always talk about how Atlantic City is resilient. Now's the time to be and things. So if you're closing a couple of hours earlier, because that's what it needs, then do that. I have a few staff less, but we need to make it through the spring. And I think you're going to see 2015 a very positive year.
Somebody who's been very bullish on Jersey, on Atlantic City, I mean, I can't speak this man's praise any higher, much like I would say these same things about you, Mayor Don Gardy, Paul Rotella.
Absolutely. What a great guy.
Yeah, for those who don't know, he's president and the chief executive officer of the New Jersey Broadcasters Association. When radio and these different things in media are being threatened in our nation's capital, he goes and testifies, he lobbies. He's been very, very bullish on Atlantic City. He has pushed a concept that I think would bring great, great attention to Atlantic City, and that is the idea of a film commission. Some people balk because they don't think there's the space for, you know, the different production sets and things like that. So maybe we wouldn't be creating multi-million-dollar sets, but, you know, we have all these warehouses that are just a few minutes from Atlantic City. They can be used.
Yes.
And then the owners of those that are choked because they can't sell them would have this film commission. I never even to Paul Rotella. If he's around, he wants to weigh in. Paul, you know how to find us. But that was something that a very, very dear confidant of mine said, that these warehouses could be perfect for that.
Yeah, the film commission would work. I mean, I come from Palisades Park. That's Fort Lee, New Jersey.
Nice roller coaster.
Yeah, it was there, Palisades Amusement Park. But before that, it was actually where the film industry was created, Perils of Pauline. As a matter of fact, the studio is right where the toll plaza currently is going into the George Washington Bridge.
Was the Perils of Pauline, was she tied down to the railroad tracks?
No, I'm not sure about that, but she was on the cliff. And,
that's
and the
right.
cliffs are still there and stuff.
Yeah,
That's the cliffs that escaped from across the Hudson back in the Revolutionary War. But we need to be able to be more tax-friendly to the Film Commission. That's really the issue. So the film industry is saying, we'd love to come to Jersey, but you got to do what Pennsylvania, New York, and California is doing for us. And I know Paul is very supportive of the idea, so am I.
Yeah.
I think we do well with the film industry in Atlantic City.
I think it would be huge. Because movies sometimes made. Part of The Godfather 3 was shot, and I was at Executive Donald at the time, was shot at Trump Castle Casino with Nicolas Cage. In fact, Mayor Whalen had a part in the movie.
Right.
Rick Santoro was right behind
absolutely.
him. That was cool. I forget the name of that movie. Snake Eyes, maybe it was. Gary Sinise.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes. There have been many movies.
Yeah.
And you know
I
what?
remember
they showed Atlantic City, but it was Longport or something.
I
but
know.
I think this film commission could be huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really could be. Mayor, how much do you have to cut from the budget?
Yeah, so $15 million. And I have to tell you that our budget probably is not going to get approved because we're in transition till July, August of this year. But I can guarantee, Harry, as we're talking now, we'll be cutting $1.5 million out of January and February every month. I said
so you are going to get there.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's no question about it. Just with the 142 layoffs, that was the official number on January 1. We're right at the $13 million mark now.
Were they layoffs or
attrition? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Attrition. So mostly retired, but some. Yeah. But we're going to be doing layoffs. And what we're doing, Harry, now, before we're looking and saying, listen, each department look at 25%, how can you make the cuts now that we have the first 13 million saved? Now we're just trying to be fair. So we're going to go department to department. We're going to say, here's how we started. We started with a clean slate. There are no employees. So you have 30 employees or 72 or 195. What are they doing? How can we do it better? And that's how we're going to deal with each department and things. So it's not just going to be a predetermined number. We're going to approach efficient business in the city.
I want to let Paul Rotella know, I didn't mean to spring that on him live on the air about the confidant of mine, who he knows, by the way, but I have to protect this special person's interests. The idea of the warehouse space takes a lot of construction issues and costs right out of play. Paul, your thoughts. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Your Honor. How are you guys doing?
Hello, Paul.
Tonight?
Happy New Year. Welcome to WPG Talk Radio.
Hey, what a great show. Listen, Mayor, what Harry brought up with the Film Commission idea, that's just part of there's so many synergistic opportunities that the Film Commission will bring to Atlantic City and the region, and not just using the space and stuff, but I even go to some of the casinos that have space, the ones that have been shut down or closing. They're the ones that have this great space you can make sound stages out of. You could house a staff, you could house talent, you have the kitchen services, office space. I mean, you could make a complex there that would, rival Studio City if you just took one and turned it into or part into your house. And then the other benefit is the improvement that these movie and television productions make to the region where they come in.
Paul,
about the
very important, Paul. Besides very cool, and I love movies. I know how much you love movies. There are a lot of our listeners that really love movies. But beyond it would just be cool to do it. There is also a significant revenue potential, isn't there?
And that's the payoff. That's the payoff. You're looking at nationally a 6-to-1 return for every dollar in tax credits that a movie or television production receives by a state. The state receives $6 in revenue. So you see, it's a very sound investment. And by the way, that's the bottom line. Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be a wow factor. You need to have that bar celebrities in town. But the bottom line is bringing in $6 every dollar of tax, bringing in that kind of revenue, that business that you would generate to the local businesses, the small businesses, and the big businesses through movie productions. And you success breeds success. Once a director, producer, someone is there and they like, working with the Atlantic City Film Commission because they know what they're doing, they've got great locations, they help us out, they're going to tell their friends, and they're going to want to come back.
I think it's a great idea. Stay with us, Paul. We have about 3-4 minutes left in tonight's program. A good 4 minutes left and a few seconds in tonight's program. Paul, you travel a lot. You represent the state, and on many occasions I say the city because you're so bullish on Atlantic City and speak so favorably about it and debunk a lot of myths that are out there. When we were literally shutting down a casino, it seemed like every month, every media outlet just hammering it like we were going down the tubes. I sense that has changed and that we have stopped the hemorrhaging, that we're on the rebound. What are you hearing when you're in other jurisdictions? What do people say about Atlantic City?
You know, Harry, what you've been doing, you've been very vocal. You've been going on other media outlets. The mayor has been the greatest cheerleader for Atlantic City. I just say, outside of those of us in the know, I don't think the message has really resonated with the people yet. And I do speak to a lot of people in many jurisdictions. And I think we need to do more. We need to get the word out that Atlantic City, the corner, that the tide is, and that, you know, America's playground really is our playground. I think we have to do that with our own citizens in New Jersey first, so that we can feel confident again in all the wonderful things Atlantic City has to offer. I think we have to keep propagating that around the nation as well. So by no means are we anywhere near getting that message across. Starting to see it. I think the hemorrhaging has stopped. And now a couple good things are happening. Just today, by the way, I was speaking to someone up in Connecticut with a very big national media company, and they do a campaign, a big event in Las Vegas every year to help out their charity. And they said they were telling Vegas because the sports people, the gambling. I said, wait a minute. I said, why not do it in Atlantic City? They said, well, you know, we could. I said, well, no, look, if you want to do it in Vegas, that's fine. Well, let's do it West Coast. Let's do it East Coast. Why can't we do 2 days? We're a piece of the pie. Let's try to get it back.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, Mayor, I'm going to need your help. They've asked me to submit a proposal to them about coming to Atlantic City. So I'm working with Margie, all the people over at Atlantic City. You know, this kind of thing, we all have to be ambassadors for Atlantic City and be ambassadors for New Jersey.
Very true.
Thanks,
Paul. Thank you. We're going to close out with a couple things that just came in from listeners that I'm glad I caught before the program. And thanks, as always, Paul, for all that you do.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good evening.
You got it. In minutes, let me pose Thomas's question, but first a comment as well. Someone brings up a really good point. It has come up on other Ask the Mayor programs, but someone said, hey, give a plug to the newly opened art garage in the city, because that's a nice,
wonderful
nice
program.
Yes.
Love art garage. You know, great to have artists in residence right there, along with the African American Heritage Museum. Second Friday of every month, they have a great wine and cheese and have a live entertainment, all free. You really have a great time. If you're coming in the city, you're thinking about a reception for a convention, great location for that. It's right in the garage, Fairmont Avenue, as you come into the city.
The 2 minutes in the program, Mayor. This is a really good question, and I wish I could take credit for it, because it is a question I should have asked. Thomas, thank you for having our back here. How much money will the city need from outside sources in order to make the 2015 budget?
Yeah, it is. So it all depends on what happens with the, and I'm not trying to avoid this.
Well, you don't have all the.
I don't have all the answers because we don't know what the 5 pieces of legislation. If it locks in the casinos at $120 million, then we get the $30 million from IATs and $30 million from and $20 million from Comtra and transitional. Ain't going to be sitting real well. Then whatever funds you see coming for the school and any money the cuts, that'll be going directly back to non-casino taxpayers.
Less than a minute. Closing comment, it's yours.
Yeah, it's winter time, but 2015, we got a lot of new projects, and a lot of the construction that we've been taught is going to be reaching fruition. Bass Pro is going to open up in the spring. Tropicana going to have some great new additions, great lighting program, great health club open up this summer. But by the end of this month, announcing some incredible activity that he has on the pier. You're going to have to want to come and see it. Everyone's going to come to Atlantic.
Mayor, real quick, should 2015 be a better year for Atlantic City? 2014?
Absolutely. We had the root canal. I'm sorry about it, but the healing begins. You're listening to Don Guardian with Harry Hurley in the evening on Ask the Mayor, WPG Talk Radio, 1450 AM.
Work release program once a month out of night. We're back in just a few hours. We have a great program in store for you tomorrow morning, including the 9 o'clock hour with the first interview with the brand new president of Atlantic City Council, Frank Gilliam Jr., after a very long time stint measured in double-digit years. William Marsh is no longer the president of City Council. Of course, he remains as a ward councilman on City Council. Frank Gilliam Jr. is president with George Tibbett. They'll be our first interview, the first interview with the new council president tomorrow on Hurley in the Morning at 9. Have a great night. Dave Ramsey is next.
From the world's playground, this is WPG Talk Radio 1450.